and my battery's flickering. Don't, please don't. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Hey fam, what's up? This is Robert Anton here, robertantonnyc, coming to you with your no frills commentary from a singer. Let me tell you, we're talking about Idol today, and I just need to get into, look, oh my lord, look, I just looked over here in my head. We ain't here to talk about my hair, even though I got the African, you know, the African afro going on, but we ain't gonna talk about that. What we're gonna do is get into Hollywood Week, and there was a few little surprises going on. Okay, here we go. So, we got massive drama and a lot of tears in the pre-roll, and then they ran the clip of people getting all woke up to go to Hollywood and arriving on the stage. So, we had a big change starting out, looked around on the stage, and it was nothing but guys. So, what they're doing is, the first part of Hollywood Week is going to be just the fellas, and then next week is going to be just the ladies. So they separated them this time, and I thought it was good. I like just seeing the guys there doing their thing. Yeah, so I kind of like that. And what a way to like throw a little, you know, a little something extra, a little something new at people. Alright, so the girls go next week. The first round, the first challenge, we're going to call it a challenge, was the acapella song, and each of them had to get up and sing Sudden Death. So of course they stood up, 10 in a line, and one step forward sang, and then stepped forward and sang, you know, and they told each one they were staying or they were going home. And their families were watching from the balcony. So a lot of this went really quick. I caught as many names as I could, what they were singing and stuff like that, but I didn't catch everybody. I'm not going to remember everybody because it was 2 hours and it was a lot. So I'm going to give you as much as I can. First up, Micah Johnson did Benny of the Jets, Elton John, and he was back to the speech impediment thing that disappeared when he sang, and I was just like, oh my god. Then he went on to the next round with 4 other guys in his group. Then Nate Tao, the guy who did the sign language, sang For Once in My Life by Stevie Wonder. Gabe Brown and Gurpreet Singh all moved on to the next round. Then Karl Skinner did Ain't Too Proud to Beg by the Temptations, and he had the judges cracking up again just like they did in his audition, and I thought, Lord Jesus, please don't put this boy through. Come on, he can't sing, y'all, come on now. So I didn't think he was good, and he went home, as did Dustin Watson, and also Dr. Calvin Peters went home, y'all, come on now. Well, whatever. It is what it is, right? Then Cortez Shaw, 22, he did I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. All right, brother, let me put what I wrote, okay? This boy opened up with the big note, you know, and it was a little forced, but he was right on pitch and just doing his thing, right? His voice cracked at one point, you know, in the song, so it kind of failed him. But I thought he did a pretty good job. So Nikki said she was disgusted about his song choice, and he did a poor job at it, but he did make it through. And the only thing I was thinking was she probably disgusted that she couldn't sing it as well as he did. Because she can. Anyway, Curtis Finch Jr., he sang another gospel song and he blew the judges away. Him and Frankie Ford both made it through to the next round. And Lazaro Arbos, the stuttering guy, he did Angels by Robbie Williams. And again, he was stuttering, and the thing is, he was trying to talk, and what I really was so moving to me is when he was talking, you know how sometimes you'll stop, you'll be doing something you can't do and you get disgusted, but he just was soldiering through it. He was just going, and he just was just going while he was doing his talking. I was just like so moved by that for some reason while he was talking. But then he started singing and amazed me once again. I didn't think his vocal was that great. I thought it was okay. But again, the whole stuttering thing just disappeared when he sang. And I was just amazed, Nikki made a heart while he was singing. Like, I can't even do it. Look at her. Nikki made a heart through her eyes while she was singing, and he made it through. Trevor Blakeney, Bryant Tadeo, and Charles Allen all made it through. But Nikki messed with Bryant because she's like, oh, what's the matter? Are you tired? He said, yeah, I'm so tired. She said, well, if you're tired, don't worry about it. You got plenty of time to rest now. You will be going home. And then she was like, oh, I'm just kidding. But don't ever say you're tired again. And just minutes later, like not even minutes, seconds later on camera, he was like, his mama said something. He was like, oh, but I was so tired. Didn't she just tell you don't say you're tired? Brian Rittenberry came up and did Back at One by Brian McKnight. He really powered through it, right? And I felt like he really made it his own. It almost sounded like a country song. But they sent him home. And he said he thought he nailed it. And I thought so too. What did you guys think? Really? Half of the guys were cut the first day. This is Robert Anton. Please thumb up the commentary if you are enjoying it. I know it's a little spastic right now, but Hollywood Week is spastic, and I am feeling the heat at the moment. Yeah, so I just hope you're enjoying the commentary. Please thumb it up for me. Make sure to Facebook it, you know, tweet it, send it out to your friends and people you know are enjoying Idol, and come tell them to come discuss with us. So day 2 had the group round, which is usually the hardest round there is. And I love that they showed Heejun and Peggy Blue for the first group reel. Those are two of my favorite people from past idols, and I even followed Peggy Blue on Twitter, and I got to chat with her once. Oh my God, I was just in heaven. I love it, I love it, I love it. So Ken Warwick and Nigel Lithgow came out there, the producers of the show, and so the people, you know, it's the group round, so everybody knew what was coming up, so they were all getting their people together and stuff like that the night before, trying to figure out who they were going to be with and starting to pick their songs and everything. Well, they flipped the script on them. Oh, Nigel and Ken came out and told them that they were not going to be choosing their own group members, that they were going to be put in groups, and they had only 20 songs to choose from a certain list. So they totally flipped the script, and they were like, I don't believe this. Oh, that's terrible. You know, they were complaining and stuff, but listen, you are here for the contest. The contest tells you what to do. You don't tell them. And if they've been doing the same thing for 50 years and they decide to switch it up on you, it is for a reason. They don't want you to get comfortable, and that is exactly what they did. And I wrote on Twitter, thanks for moving their cheese. Only a few people are going to get that, I know. If you got it, tell me down in the comments. Okay, I thought it was funny that this one group called themselves Country Queen. And you guys know why. They are going to be way down in the comments, but it was funny. I thought the name fit so well. I thought it's probably the best name in the history of group names on Idol. Tell me if you have a favorite. Tell me if you have a favorite. So they were having some troubles at 4 a.m. in the morning. In the morning, you know, they were still rehearsing, and I was laughing my head off, and I don't remember exactly what it was. But Trevor was being a jerk, in my opinion, while everyone else was trying to go with the flow, you know, and just be loose and do their thing. First up, we had the Math Heads, Mateus's group, Little Shorty Mateus, and they started out with some good slow harmonies. Nick Boddington took the first solo and sounded good, and Mateus Fernandez and Gabe Brown both sounded good also. And then I wrote, actually, they all sounded good and did some wailing. All of them were like going all over the place doing their thing. So all 4 made it through to the next round after Nikki messed with them for a minute. Then Normal Heels was next, and Johnny Kaiser was in this group. Johnny Kaiser, I don't so they did Reach Out, I'll Be There by the 4 Tops. And Johnny was forgetting his words, and I was like, you've been here before, brother. Why are you forgetting your words? And Kareem Clark was all off key in his solo. So Kareem was sent home and the other 3 made it through. Then Charlie Askew was the first to sport the Idol bug in the Hollywood Week. You know, he was all sick and stuff like that. And it was funny because one of the guys, who was it? I can't remember, Junior, Curtis Finch Jr. was like, and a few people were talking about it on Twitter, so I naturally remember it. He was like, you know, I'll be the first one to help him pack, and I even escorted to the airport, but I got to be on mine. You know, I got to make sure I'm here for me. And I feel that so some people felt like he was being very selfish, but listen, this is a solo competition. The group round is getting through to the next round. It's not like you have to be like all over like, oh, I'm going to make sure this person makes it no matter what happens. No, you're about yourself. You want to care about the other people, but you also want to make sure that you have yours. And I felt like that's basically what he was saying. I care what happens to him. I hope he's going to be better, but I'm going to make sure that I am doing what I need to do to make it on to the next round. And I thought that was the best thing. So they did the Lazy song, Bruno Mars, like you've never ever heard it before, and Curtis Finch Jr. took it to church. Not church, y'all, to church. I'm saying, if you don't watch no other performances, rewatch on this show, make sure you watch that performances. They really arranged this song beautifully. And I wrote, even Charlie Askew caught the spirit because he got him a little wail in. I was like, go ahead on. Very nice arrangement. And the judges were on their feet. Even Nikki, I think this is the first time she has stood this season. So, well, yeah, on Idol. Then came the Four Tones, and Micah Johnson, Vincent Powell, David Willis, and Marvin Calderon. They all went through to the next round. Nate Towle, Cortez Shaw, Elijah Liu, they sounded pretty good and seemed to be having a good time and good harmonies too, and they all went through. I think there was another person in that group, but I don't remember who it was. Then the next group was doing What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction, and they were all messing up the words and things. Oh, then the Taylors were next, and they were joking about forgetting the lyrics and like, oh, this song only has 7 words. If you forget it, you might as well go home. And each one forgot their lyrics. But Paul Jolly and Will White went through to the next round. Then there was B-side, and they were forgetting the payphone lyrics, and their harmonies weren't very good. But they all went through to the next round, and Nikki called them her favorite group and gave them hugs backstage. And what she was saying, and I know a lot of people are disagreeing, because a lot of people on Twitter were disagreeing about it. You know, I don't think I would have sent them all through, but what Nikki was saying was basically, you know, that even though they were forgetting their words and they were a little off on the harmonies and all that good stuff, they all were still coming out and just presenting and doing their thing and still performing. They weren't forgetting words going, there was a, you know, they were still into it. And she was saying we're all human and we all do forget. And what she liked about them is that they were still bringing that, you know, star quality to the performance. And trust me, I do gigs every week, and there are many days or many times in a night where I might flub a lyric or two here and there. This is a funny thing we say a lot of times. Second verse, same as the first. You forgot the second verse, baby, same as the first verse over again. So, you know, I can understand that. I don't agree that all of them should have gone through, but you know, these are the judges, and they chose who they wanted to go on to the next round. Next up, we had Last Minute. They did What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction, and they dedicated the song to Nikki and Mariah, and they were all forgetting their words, and their harmonies were bad, and it just was not a good performance at all. And they all got sent home. What's the difference? Yeah. I did say what the difference is because they were kind of, yeah. Then Devin Jones, Devin Velez, and their group did Payphone, but they decided they were going to do it a cappella, and they had some really nice harmonies. I thought the solos sounded good, and all of them went through except for, I think it was Adrian. No, Adrian went through. I forget what the guy was, but the person who decided that they were going to do it a cappella did not go through. And I was wondering if the judges knew that he's the one who said that they weren't going to do, you know, they weren't going to sing with the band, and they decided not to put him through because, again, he did not stand up to the challenge. The challenge was to do it as a group with the band. And if they say certain things, you know, yes, you can choose not to do, but you're not doing the whole challenge, and you got to be stellar if you're going to make it through and you don't do everything that there is, every little point. Just like any competition that you apply for, if you go through all this stuff but you forget that one thing, a lot of times you aren't going to make it to the next round because you forgot that one thing or you decided not to do that one thing. You have to stick to the rules, and the rules were to do it with the band. Then we had MoFlo. They did Some Kind of Wonderful by the Drifters, and then Burnell Taylor, Tony Foster Jr., Mario Jose, and Darian Moses, and they all sounded good on their solos and had good harmonies, but the ending was booty. Just booty. I was just like, it just like, you know, just fell out of nowhere. I just like, okay, whatever. Darian and Mario went home. Burnell and Tony went forward. Then we had Super 55. They did Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys, Lazaro, Arbos, Josh Stevens, Scott Fleener, and Christian Lopez. And they were having a hard time getting their song choice together and teaching Lazaro the song, they said. Yeah, and they were really kind of down on him because, you know, they felt like he wasn't getting in and, you know, all this good stuff. So Joshua and Scott went home, and Lazaro and Christian moved forward. And I didn't mark who was really upset about it, but one guy was like, oh, I was spending all my time working with him, and then he got to go through, and then he went to congratulate him, and he was like, well, if anybody should have went through, you should have been you because we spent all our time helping you. So I was just like, you just mad, ain't you? That you didn't make it through. You should have been on top of your part also before worrying about somebody else. You know, help everybody else, but worry about your part too. Lord Jesus, this is a group thing, but you still got to be on top of yours. The group is only as strong as its weakest link, but in this case, the weakest link is going home. And he was one of the weakest link, right? That's terrible. Then we had Country Queen. I love that name. I love that, especially for these guys. Country Queen. And one of the boys was in drag, okay? And this was just an interesting group to me. Their whole little fight and stuff during the night and all that good stuff. I was just laughing I just thought it was too funny. It just was. Lee Pritchard, Joel Wayman, Trevor Blakeney, and I forgot, oh, Jada, I think it was Jada. And they weren't quite meshing, you know, they were forgetting the words and stuff like that. And Trevor, he forgot his words and he was just pacing and just, I mean, just like he was just so upset. He was steaming. You could just see like, no, it was pitiful. It was really pitiful and painful. I wrote it was kind of painful. So Trevor was the only one out of the group who went home because, you know, everybody else was trying to soldier through and try to do the thing and all that, and he was just, so whatever. Josh, Jada, and Joel moved to the next round, and Trevor took it really hard, just really hard. Sorry, bro. Really, I'm really sorry about that, but you gotta hang loose a little bit. I mean, just really, and just do what you got to do, learn your part. Next up was DKSK, the youngest group out of all of them. They did for the longest time Billy Joel. It was David Leathers Jr. Yay, he's back from last season. Oh God, I gotta hurry up. Caden Stevenson, Kevin Quinn, and Sonny, and they did a sweet key change in there. Even like the dog was like, oh, all right, a key change. David and Sonny went through. Caden and Kevin went home. I knew Caden wasn't going to be there for long. So Griffin Peterson and Clifton Duffin went home also. Some other people who went home who we had seen before. And then came up the last group of the night, and my battery's flickering. Don't, please don't. No, don't do it, don't do it. Okay, Oz, or was it Oz? Oz or Oz? They did American Boy by Estelle. Adam Sanders, my boy, was in this group, and they were all arguing about back and forth between one boy because he didn't know a whole lot about music, and they came out like, okay, so in the chorus we should do in the verse, and he didn't know all these terms, so he was very, very frustrated, and he just was not gelling with the group. Frankie wasn't gelling with the rest of the group. So they started out, they sounded pretty darn bad, and they kind of were all mumbling. It sounded like they were all mumbling to me. Papa Beaches was, you know, did his thing. Adam was on top of his, then he messed up his lyrics. Frankie Ford forgot all of his lyrics and just went la 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 la. Charles Allen came on and did his thing with a really nice sound, but he did a little too much in my opinion. He just tried to it's like he tried to blow everybody out of the water. Did a little too much for me. Nikki really took control of the talk and led the group, and I think throughout the night she was pretty much one of the leaders of, well, pretty much the leader of, you know, the whole proceedings and everything. But Frankie went home and the rest moved on to the next round. And Adam waited for Frankie while he was on stage, you know, thanking the judges and stuff like that. And I thought it was just so sweet. He just, you know, escorted him, helped escort him off and everything and boot him out. No, he was being very, very nice. That was so nice of you, Adam. Oh, so Frankie was really distraught and crying like a baby. And he was promising to come back with a vengeance. I'll be back, I'll be back. Well, brother, all I got is really one thing to say to you. If you are coming back, make sure that you get some kind of vocal training. Learn about music because you have to know these things. And you are the one who's going to be frustrated if you don't know them. Everybody else is moving forward because they know something. Just a little. If you don't know what a verse and a chorus and a bridge is, come on, you got to get on top of that kind of stuff. Anybody who's auditioning for the show, if you don't know when you audition, you make it through, the next thing you should be doing is learning a little bit about song structure and maybe getting with a coach really quickly to, you know, work on a few things. Tomorrow night is solos. They'll all be doing solos, and again, it'll be another elimination, and they're going down to the top 20 guys. Then next week will be the girls. This is Robert Anton, robertantonnyc.com. I made it. Without my battery going dead. I'm out. Peace.